What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining me on D's Analysis. We're going to be going over MicroStrategy, just a daily update. So we've been running down this trend line. We've had multiple touches. We broke out. We thought maybe we could continue moving. When you break out, you normally get a retest of wherever you broke out from. So this was a trend line that we broke out of, and now we're getting a retest here. So we retested on Monday, and on Tuesday, we actually ended up getting a wick off of this horizontal level of support. So a retest and another retest off of this level right here, which is a great sign. When you look at the 4 hour, it looks very good. 2 wicks came back. So you had the first wick, closed above, pushed back down to retest, and closed almost somewhat like a green hammer. Super bullish close right here. Let's see if we can get a clean move up to the top. And let's see if we can touch this trend line again and see what happens. Maybe we break out of it. So we have 2 trend lines drawn out. The initial one is from the peak coming downward, and that means we broke out if this is the actual trend line. But if we have this trend line here in play, then we haven't broken out yet. So let's see, in terms of this trend line, let's see if we actually get a touch and a breakout, because we would want to see a move just like this here, but on this one. And then from there, I don't see another trend line. So if we get that same move where we end up breaking out, close, retest, and move higher, then that could be the real breakout. Because yes, we have a breakout here, but we still have this trend line holding us down. So price is still compressing for now. But off of this trend line, we already broke out, but off of this trend line, we're still compressing. So we're kind of stuck in between those 2 thoughts. But we are above this horizontal level of support, which is a great sign. So we'll see how it plays out. But once we break out of here, I think the official breakout has begun. So let's see if we end up doing what I said, where we break out, retest, and move up higher, or if the next move ends up just being a move to the second trend line, and then we just continue to chop. And then we make our decision whether it's to the downside, retest, move on down, or if we chop, break out, retest, and then move up higher. Overall, it's still extremely bullish. It's playing off of this trend line and long-term channel. Looks amazing. We've already had 1, 2, 3, 4 touches, 5 touches right here. We had like 3 in a row here, 3 weeks in a row touching that trend line, showing that it's well respected. Now, the more you touch something, usually you can weaken it before breaking out. So we definitely don't want to keep touching that trend line here. We want to get a move to the upside and eventually start getting some touches on the top of this trend line and top of the channel, and eventually break out of that. But in terms of price targets, we have our flagpole that measures out. That called this move. Measure that out again. That calls this move here. You can use your flagpoles to call the next move. So this flagpole called this one. We'll see if this flagpole calls this next move here at about 1,000 to 1,200, which also coincides with our Fibonacci's, which we'll pull right now. So you pull from this top to this bottom here, and you stretch it out. Right at the 2618, pretty much called the top besides this blow off top. So if we do the same thing here, we pull from this top to the beginning of the move, we get something where this looks like our range here, which lines up with our flagpole. So we have 2 things pointing in the same direction. Looking good overall. Very bullish momentum. When you're in doubt, you just zoom out. We really have only been going sideways and down for 3 or 4 months. So let's see if this is the turnaround now. Last time we went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then month 6 we ran up. Right now we've just been 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's see if month 5 is the run up now. So let's see if there's some volatility today with the tariffs and all that stuff that's going on. Should be announced later in the day. So we'll see how the market reacts. I think the tariffs and all that have been baked into the price. So maybe we go up from here, but we'll find out, of course. Anything can happen because we can end up losing this trend line, closing, retesting the gray trend line and bottom of channel and moving down lower. Hopefully that doesn't happen and we just get a large candle to the upside and make our way to the midline of this channel. In terms of Fibonacci here, we got to bounce off this golden zone 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, ran up. And then when we pull to this one, from this bottom to this top, all this is the same Fibonacci we pulled earlier but flipped. So in this case, we pulled, we got our touch here on the golden zone, the 0.5 to 0.618, close underneath it, close back inside of it, and now we've just been playing inside of the golden zone. So what we want to see is a close above the 0.5 and a rally up, because this is to show that there's a strong continuation in price. So if you pull it down even further, you can see the golden zone kind of stretches a little bit, and now we're actually already closed above the golden zone. Actually, we closed last week inside of it, but we're now outside pushing. So let's see if we get a close here and I'll move up to the upside. So you want to maintain the 618 and higher when you're talking about bull trends, because that's a very bullish sign to the upside or to whichever direction you're pulling. We also do have Fibonacci's in the opposite direction as well. So here, let me go to the daily. So if we were to pull Fib from here to here in a bearish way, as you can see, we're going down. This is where we pulled from. So the initial run up ran right to the 0.5 to the 618, to the golden zone, perfect. Ran up again to the golden zone, pushed back. So this is showing bearish price action. But now, after this one, we kind of have like a double bottom, and this one might be a higher low here. So let's see if we push back to the golden zone and we get a close how we did here. So we want to get another close at the 618 off of this bearish golden zone, and then breaking up higher and break this bear trend and move up to higher levels. And if we pull it to a step further, we still have a ways to go, because we have a golden zone here. I'm going to draw it out with this. We have a 618 to the 0.5 above our head still, which is going to act as resistance when we try pushing up. So we have to break these levels here for this bearish pull on the Fibonacci. So we want to break that. And once we get above that 432 and get a solid close, then we can really, really run. There's no moving averages over our head, no trend lines, no golden zones. It's just time to run. So we'll see how it plays out, of course. On the SMAs, we're starting to look good here. On the daily, we closed back above the 20-day. We're pushing towards the 50-day. Let's see if we get a close today above it. That would be nice. We're currently at 300 in pre-market. We closed at 306, so we're down a little bit, but that's okay. On the weekly, we got a strong bounce off the 50 3 times. We got this retest off the trend line and this trend line here, or bottom of the channel. And now it looks like we're trying to make our way to the 50-week. We want to close above that, because if we close above that weekly moving average, we'll also be closing above this final trend line that we have downward sloping, and then it could be time to run up to this golden zone. So those are our levels of resistance. We have this moving average, this trend line, and this golden zone. Once we break all those, it's time to run, in my opinion. Not financial advice. These are just guesses based off of what I'm seeing here on the technicals. I could be completely wrong, by the way. On the daily, we close above the midline, the blue line. Solid close, looks good. Maybe we get a retest of the blue and then move up to our red, which would also coincide with that top trend line. On the weekly, we already got our bounces off the bottom green band. When we made our way up to the blue, got rejected, but it looks like we're trying to make our way back up. And all these things are showing this trend line. All the SMAs, the Bollinger Bands. So there's a lot of resistance over our head. So once we break this trend line, we could get a sharp move up. RSI on the weekly starting to push up, creating higher highs, higher lows. So this is looking good. We're making our way to this yellow moving average. Let's see if we break above it, get a bounce, and move higher. On the daily, we're looking very good. Higher highs, higher lows. We fell underneath the moving average, but we're already curling back up. So we're kind of on the same boat where we want to break above this, maybe get a retest, and move to the top of this range here on the RSI, showing strength in price, so we can have a continued and sustainable rally to the upside. On the MACD, we look very good. We're pushing up. We started to come back down to the orange moving average, but it looks like we're trying to curl back up. So let's see if we get some green candles to start rallying back to the upside. That'd be very bullish. Overall, most of the indicators and the technicals combined are very bullish. This blue line looks like it's starting to try and curl. You can see the red start turning white and slowly dwindling down little by little. So we want to see a continuation of that, and something like this where we see these massive green candles for an extended period, so we can have a sustainable run with volume behind us. Overall, though, I think it's very good. It looks awesome. If you believe in Bitcoin, believe in MicroStrategy, they consistently accumulate Bitcoin, so it could be a good play for everybody. We'll see how it plays out, of course, but long term, I think it's going to be a great play. On Bitcoin, we've been going down this downward sloping trend line. We were saying that this trend line could be some trouble, and we ended up getting that push down off of this level when we were pushing upwards. We got the push down, which is okay, but it looks like we're trying to retest it again. So if we retest it again, this thing's going to start getting weaker because we've already had multiple touches. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 touches right here. So this thing is starting to get weak. We break above this and this horizontal level of support. This is a minor level, and we can probably see 92 pretty quickly. And if we break 92, we can make our way back up to 96, 95, and then eventually to 100K. So those are the levels that I'm seeing. I think it's going to be a strong, sustainable breakout once we finally break out. But at the same time, we do have to be, conscious that we could hit this again and push right back down and make lower lows and lower highs and continue down the trend line. That is always a possibility, but I can also see where we break out. This acts as resistance, pushes us back for a retest, and then we make our way back up. That's what I'm seeing here on Bitcoin. On MSTR divided by Bitcoin, we have a solid breakout. This looks amazing. We broke out off of this trend line here. Somewhat got a retest. These are always going to be a little funny because, you can see there's a bunch of engulfing candles, but it's because it's a weird metric. But we definitely got a breakout. So let's see if we get this move up. And this is going to be a sustainable move, hopefully. So that's all I have for you guys. I'll see you in the next one.